Hello everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be teaching you how to draft a basic short sleeve pattern, and I'm going to be teaching you two ways of drafting this pattern, the basic one and the normal one. So if you are viewing us for the first time, you are highly welcome. Please consider subscribing to my channel and remain part of this amazing family. So I folded my pattern paper in half, and I'll be marking an imaginary line on top. That's my starting point. This line is where all the measurements is going to be starting from. So the first thing I will do is to measure the length of the sleeve. The length I'm using is 10 inches. So from this base line, I'll be marking 10 inches. And I'll be marking the 10 inches across. So the next thing I'll be doing is marking my cap height. And to get your cap height, the simple way of calculating your cap height is to divide your bust measurement by 12 plus 0.5 inch. So my own is 4.5. So I'm marking 4.5 across here. So now on the cap height, I'll be imputing my around armhole measurement. And to do that, let me show you here. You will be measuring all around your armhole and divide it by 2. So whatever you get, you add it here. Or you'll be dividing your bust by 6, and then whatever you get, you add 1 inch. So my armhole measurement is 8.5 here. So the whole round armhole is 17 inches divided by 2. So it's 8.5. If you want to calculate it, you'll be dividing your bust by 6, and then whatever you get, you add 1 inch. So now from this point of the starting line, you are going to connect a straight line to meet this point. Next, you'll be finding the midpoint of this line, and to do that, you place your tape, and whatever you get, you divide it into 2. I got 4.75. Then on this midpoint line, you go up by half an inch. Then you take your curved ruler and connect from this starting point here to this half an inch here. And then from this half inch to where the armhole stopped, you will be connecting it straight. You should know that the front armhole, this is for the back armhole. This is for the back armhole. The front armhole, as you can see, is more deeper than the back armhole. So what you are going to do is to take your curved roller again, come to the tip of the sleeve here, and then connect it with a straight line to meet this down point here. From this point to the armhole point here, you turn your ruler like this on the curved part, like so, and then connect from this point to this end. So this is the back armhole, and this is the front armhole. Now you come down to the sleeve length and impute your around sleeve measurement. Mine is 13 inches divided by 2 is 6.5. Now I'll add 1.5 inch seam allowance. And on this cap height line, I'll also add 1.5 inch for seam allowance. Next, I'll be connecting from the cap height length to the sleeve length. Sorry, 1.5 have to be here. This is 6.5, and the side seam allowance is 1.5. So the next thing, when you are connecting the lines, don't use straight ruler. Don't connect the lines straight like this. because when you connect it straight like this, the excess, you have excess fabric here. That's when you wear the dress, you see that your armpit is bulky. So what you do is you use the curved ruler like so. When joining the point, you see it's supposed to be in a curved line, not straight. And you come here. So this is it. And then I'll be adding 1.5 inch hemming allowance. So you mark 1.5 inch for hemming allowance. So to cut off this, you have to fold. You see what I'm doing? You fold the allowance inside, you fold it down like so, then you cut it out. Then when you come here, we are going to cut the back armhole line first. Then you cut this off. So this is it. Next, I will be connecting the lines down. So the next thing to do is to open it up and cut the front armhole. This one in the center here, going down here, is the front armhole. So we are going to be opening it up. I do the lines down, and I'm going to mark a straight line here to indicate the front from the back. So this is the back, and then see how I'm cutting the front armhole. I'm going to cut it from the down here. This is my short sleeve. This is the back armhole, and this is the front armhole. So let me explain one thing more to you guys. You see, when you fold it, you see the front is deeper than the back. In case you want to make a long sleeve, you just measure your tape from your shoulder to where you want the sleeve to be. Like mine is 22. So you mark it and then you find the around sleeve there. That will be your sleeve length. So this, if it's 22, you just make your paper or your fabric, you just mark it straight to 22 and you impute your round sleeve measurement, and then you connect the line straight. And if you want it 3/4, or you can measure up to your elbow and then you measure around your elbow line, and then you impute half of it here because the paper is folded into two. So you impute whatever you measure around your sleeve, then you impute it down. So this is the first method. Let's go down to the second method. So the second method, I already drew the line, that's the starting point. The next thing is to measure the cap's height. If you want to get your cap height, the simple method of getting your cap height is by dividing your bust circumference by 12. Whatever you get, you add 0.5 inch to it. That's your cap height. And the simple method that I always use that works for me is from 4 to 4.5 inches is for small to medium size sleeves, and from 4.5 to 5 inches is for large and extra large sleeve measurement. So I'm using 4.5 because I'm making it for a medium size person. So I mark 4.5 here, that's for the cap height. I mark 4.5 here, then I connect it with a straight line. Next thing to do is to mark the length of the sleeve, and the length I'm using is 10 inches. So from the starting line here, I'll be measuring down 10 inches for the sleeve length. So the next thing is to calculate your around armhole measurements. To do that, as I explained in the first method, you measure around your armhole and divide it by 2. Whatever you get is what you place here. Or you use this formula. You divide your bust circumference by 6, and whatever you get, you add 1 inch. So in this case, my own is 8.5 inches. I'm adding the 8.5 inches on this line. That's the cap height line. So I'm adding 8.5. Then coming down to the around sleeve, and my round sleeve is 13 inches divided by 2 is 6.5. Why I divide it by 2? Because the paper is folded in half, it's folded into 2, so the around sleeve measurement is 6.5. So the next thing you do is, on top of this starting line, you are going to measure 2.5 inches, and then you are going to use your curve ruler to connect it like so, or you can use your hand. Let me use my hand. If you cannot use your free hand, you can use your curve ruler. From this curve height point to the sleeve length, you are going to connect the lines, but make sure that you don't connect it straight. If you connect the line straight, you'll be having excess of fabric around this area when you wear the clothes. So you have to use the curve ruler to connect it like so. And then I'll be adding 1.5 inch seam allowance. On the sleeve length, I'll be adding 1.5 inch. Then I connect this one to the seam. So this is the cap height, and then this is the sleeve length. I'm adding 1.5 inch hemming allowance, and then connect these lines to meet here. Or you can also fold it like this and then cut it out, so that you will not get short of fabric when folding the hemming allowance. So the next thing to do is to cut it off. But before I cut it off, let me explain what I explained in the first one. If you want to make a long sleeve, you just mark from here and end it where you want your long sleeve to be. It can be 22, 23 to 25. You can end it here and then measure your round sleeve and divide it by 2 and put it there. Or you want to sew a 3/4 sleeve, you can measure up to your elbow, and my elbow is 13 inches. So 13 inches, you measure around your elbow, and then whatever you get, you divide it by 2 and put it as the round sleeve measurement. So now I'll be cutting it out. So this is the hemming allowance, this is the sleeve length, and this is the calf height. And you can see that these two methods are different. This one, because of the front armhole is deeper than the back armhole, that's how we cut this one. And then this is the back, this is the front, and this one we didn't differentiate from the front and the back armhole. So this is the second method. So this is the first method, and I know all the two methods are easy and simple to cut, and you can follow it to do all your sewing work. When folded, this is how it looks. So this is it. This is the front, this is the back. So this is the second method, and it's also simple, and you can use it for a free gown, something that is not too tight. When you use this method, it goes perfectly. So guys, this is all we have for today. If you find this tutorial helpful, please don't forget to give it a like, share, and also subscribe and turn on your notifications. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.